What's going on, world? Welcome to another episode of the Other Guys podcast reactions. Today, we're going to be reacting to the focus fallacy. I assume this is some Kevin Samuels content. And so, Isha, remind me, we're talking about women should focus on themselves in order to obtain success. Is that
Yep,
the
that
overall narrative? Okay. Uh,
that's pretty much it. So it's and he's been asking a great question. It's like, what does success like look like? Is what you should
right.
ask ladies. That's the first thing.
Hmm.
Hey, what does success look like? What does a successful life look like to you? But yeah, so I mean, I think we're all familiar with, hey, focus on yourself, and then everything will just be great. I'm focusing on my career. I'm 35, and I'm gonna get married in a couple years and have kids, and we hear that. And but we heard it in our interviews that we do, the street interviews. What
Yeah.
time? When do you want to get married? I want to get married. Maybe about 33. So
Hmm.
everybody wants to start in their 30s. But so let's jump into this video here.
Let's do it.
Let's see what Kevin Samuels has to say about it all.
Simply, 2022 is about self awareness, separation, and balance. Self awareness, separation, and balance. Self awareness, self explanatory. Awareness of yourself, who you are, what you want, why you want what you want, and then go get what matches that. Separation. Look, you are going to, if you want to be anything in this life, you're going to have to separate from the pack. You're going to have to pull away from the pack, and that means getting out of your comfort zone and doing things that may be foreign. And when you separate, you're going to deal with things that make people uncomfortable. When you separate, you make yourself a target. 48 laws of power. You also give yourself room to move. When you're in the pack, you can't. There's a video I want to show you guys as I want to lead into this thing about focus. What happens when you separate is it's going to make people uncomfortable. It's going to make people uncomfortable because people move like this.
It's disgusting.
And when you start to separate from the crowd, you start to make people uncomfortable. So look at that. There's food on both sides, right? And here they come. Let's go ahead and speed this up to get to the point. I want you guys to watch what happens with the herd mentality. Watch what happens with the herd mentality. There's food on both sides, but look what's going on.
So that's the first part of the video here, and 100%.
So
The
we're not gonna talk about the subtle reference of women and rats.
Is that what we
this
technically
was
Subtle,
do? Can't
this
be called women rats.
no.
mice. I'm sorry, mice.
No, there you
So
go. More for
this just mammals. Okay, so
God, yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
have behavioral, as far as instincts. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, people are followers. A lot of people are innate. People like to follow the trends.
Mm-hmm.
And I know most people, like, if you look on, like, you look at Reddit stories, and if you read through, whenever the lady is cheating, friends are usually a huge part of it. They could be married. I've seen a lot of them where they're married for 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years, and stay at home mom, kids are gone, so she decides to go to work, everything falls apart because everybody wants to follow. They get encouraged to do these
I can see
things, right?
that. I can see that.
100%. So, and what's the biggest thing that these guys? Hey, go to Thailand, go here, go there. You meet all these ladies, and what do they tell you? Well, if you bring them back, then you done, right? Because if you bring them back and then you don't protect them, then you done. I think Pink Book Lessons had a video out just recently about the same thing, where the ladies. I mean, if you bring them back, the programming is going to get there. Of course, the U.S. is, Hollywood is exporting a certain mindset out to the entire world, so it's spreading more and more. But yeah, people are followers for the most part. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys see the same thing. I mean, have seen the
Yeah.
same thing in the dating world, right?
So let me ask then. What he said? Something separate. What was the first S? Was
Uh,
there?
th- the three things that he was focusing
Yes.
on. I think it was self awareness. Let me see if I
Self
can get.
awareness,
Uh,
separation. Okay, so here's what I hear, and I think I have like a one track mind sometimes. Like you know how you believe something, and like
right,
whatever you believe, that's what you hear, even if it ain't talking about that.
right,
Um, when I hear separation, what to me what I think of is competition, right? It's put yourself in a position to stand out amongst your peers, out compete them, do better, right? Um, and I believe that for a lot of women, that's uncomfortable because it's well, I don't say for a lot of women, but yeah, a lot of women, because I read somewhere that like their biology is to be accepted by the group, right? Like the last thing that a woman wants to is to be exiled, right? Because then that
right.
means I am alone, I'm on an island, and I have to fend for me versus the group or a man.
You, you know
Um,
what? Oh,
yeah,
go ahead and finish your point.
yeah. So I could see why separation would be hard for women. Perfect example. There's this. I don't even have to name a person, but you'll see online. Let's say the Met Gala or something, right? And it'll be Nicki Minaj and so, and the question will be who wore it better. And the dresses are 99% the same. I'm looking for who ass look better in it, right? But obviously they both look great. And then somebody without undoubtedly comes in and says, "We ain't gotta compete. There's enough room. Everybody can be beautiful." And it's just
Mm-mm.
like they have this aversion to competition. It's like it's okay to compete. Like it's okay. Like whether we say it or not, men are going to compare. They just don't like to be compared out loud. Versus, I saw this thing and it was like Cameron, the rapper. And it was like him telling about a story of like how he was in a room with like Usher or Nelly or somebody else, a couple of guys, and he felt broke compared to them. And then the question was, who who do you think is the richest rapper? And like we compare men all day, and it's no big deal. We just get used to it. It's normal.
Yeah.
But when we do it with women, it's very uncomfortable, and they love to go to the collectivism, the socialism. There's enough room for all of us, and even if there is, there's still room for comparison. And comparison is okay.
It
Man,
doesn't feel good to lose, and
yeah.
one of them has to lose.
Look,
Somebody
I'm
like
not gonna lie, AD. I've actually seen a lot of the opposite because I've seen a lot of women who aren't worried about being confrontational. Oh, they're right. They're not worried about alienating everybody or saying things that aren't like societally like accepted and kind of but I mean that may be due to another cause, right? Like, oh well, society's gonna love me anyway, right? I'm a woman, you know what I'm saying? Especially like, you know what I'm saying, if they're attractive, that it's like it don't matter what I do or say if I rub feathers the wrong way. Um
what
and
outcomes do they
then
have?
huh?
What outcomes do they have?
Uh, well, I see separation and kind of focus on myself as kind of making you maybe you might have a successful career. They're usually single, but they probably have like success in their like career, their some personal ambitions. But I don't know if they like having a job, so it's kind of confusing. But and to that point that you made, man, women are the one who invented the who wore it better, right? That's a thing because women are harder on each other. How they always feel like, you know what I'm saying, they'll be like, society puts all this pressures on us to be this way, but it's other women putting that pressure on them, right? There's never been like a man that's been like, uh, said he couldn't talk to him because she didn't have proper makeup, hair, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's always women who are like critiquing and criticizing other women to the point of, I have to impress these other women
You
because
know
they're
what?
watching me.
This is a slight tangent, but I've thought about this. I don't know if I've brought this up before, but like when we talk about beauty standards, right?
Hmm.
And who defines them, right? It's usually women or an industry, right? The marketplace. And beauty standards change over time, right? There's the Victorian era, and they wanted women who were slimmer, and then they want that shit changes. But my question is, has what men wanted over time changed? What the market, what magazines, what movies depict as beautiful, that's an industry. Their job is to make money and sell products. So that's going to change all the time. But has what men wanted and out of wives, like when I'm selecting a woman I'm going to be with long term, has that changed? Do we even track that? I don't think it has.
Yeah, no, I don't think it has either. I think it's been pretty. It's been pretty consistent, and it's pretty consistent throughout the entirety of the world. Pretty much all major civilizations. And then I think when he's talking about separation, I watched that whole podcast, and he means separate from the group, right? He's like,
Mhm.
so all these ladies are going in a particular direction, right? So all these ladies are going in a particular direction, and we know where black women in general, and exceedingly, the numbers are getting bigger and bigger for all women in the U.S. in the Western countries. Period, are going to a particular place. Happiness is going down, weight is going up, children are going down, and nothing seems to be getting better. So why do you want to go where everybody else is going when nobody is happy? In the last, we looked at the psychology now and the profile, the most unhappy women around, what was it, 42 years old, single, no
No
children,
kids.
and
Yep.
a professional, doctor, lawyer. The most unhappy women will be considered financially successful, but
Yep.
they are not successful in life. They make money, but then what? You know. But why do you want to go with those people? Why is it your goal to go there? So I think that is what he's looking at for separation. Let's jump back into the
Yeah.
video
Let's do it.
here, and let's get this one back up here.
Uh-oh, two more went in. Why? The instinct. Separation is a powerful thing. Now look at that. Look at that. That was the first one that went in and said, no, I'm done with it. I'm not going in there. It's better out here. Now here's the funny thing. What's going to start to happen? The mice that were over on the inside of the trap, now they're going to start to get anxious. They were eating the food, but the food ran out. Now they recognize their trap. Now they want to get out. This is just the plexiglass with a mesh top, and they can't climb their way out.
Real quick note: this is after the age of 30. Okay, so the ones inside, that's after the age of 30, and now they all want to get back out because everything was great. Everything is fine when they got all the leverage in the world. There are men throwing themselves, but when all the food, the men, run out and they can't find any more, they're not getting attention like they used to, and they're there with they and all of their friends. They stuck in the same position. This is when they start to panic and they all want to get out. Now we got so many women want to be traditional. This is where they got $100,000 in student loan debt. This is where they've been focusing on their career for a decade and putting relationships on the back burner. Now
Come on,
all of a
Pastor
sudden,
Keyshawn. Come on, Pastor.
and then all of a sudden we got, hey, you know what? Look at them. They look happy. They free. They get they you know what? I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I got this degree. I got this student loan debt. I got this horrible track record for relationships because I put I put people after money. I put money first for a decade. And now I'm stuck here with everybody else. And there are no men. There's no family. There is Valentine's Day, right? Let me give a Valentine's Day present to my best friend. This is a representation of what it's like after 30. I just wanted to drop that in there real quick because it's what it looks like.
Look at them. Now imagine if this experiment ran to its natural end. What would happen if the cameras are turned off and they just let the mouse stay this way? You come back a week later to a bloody mess. Self awareness, separation, and balance. And balance is what I want to talk about today with the ladies. Ladies, there's an old quote that I don't know who to attribute it to, but Dolly Parton gets a lot of it. Don't get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Okay? Don't get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. We need 1,000 more likes, or we go straight to intermission. 30 seconds, the chat room cuts off unless we get the likes up. Don't get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Dolly Parton was who I know who said it anyway. What is that ultimately saying? It's saying that look, careers and all this stuff and passions are fine, but more important than all of that is the life. And this is what I want to talk about. The modern women's focus fallacy. What is a fallacy? Look down in the description. A fallacy is a mistaken belief, especially one based on an unsound argument. The notion that the camera never lies is a fallacy. Or it's a failure in reasoning which renders an argument invalid.
So let's stop. We'll stop it right there.
Hmm.
Um, and
So
then,
let
uh
me
huh.
let me ask this. Let me ask this because when I hear this, just focus on yourself. Like if I had a woman or a daughter and she's like, "Hey, I want better outcomes. I should just focus on myself." Like to me, that sounds like a good idea, but it really, I guess, it depends on the implementation and what the hell do you mean, right? Because I
Marketing.
believe a smart person, uh, you learn to become stoic. You learn to focus on that you can control, and outside of yourself, I mean, what you really don't have a whole lot of control.
Right.
So I'm failing to see uh,
I,
what there's a disconnect. I
I
guess
think the problem is if you focus on yourself for a decade and and if you miss out because here's what I think is happening a lot of times, right? During like being 25, right? She's 25, she's attractive, she's got like a career budding, and there's also me, right? So she's not in a position to have to pay for things and like what I'm saying. So she's getting these benefits of being like a young attractive woman, who's charming to men and whatnot. But she's also like in career, right? And at some point, it's like a win-win. Things are great, but like I said, once you because I'm sure the mice inside the box, it was lit at first. So they were like, hey, like the first one in there, he was like, I got food all to
Yeah.
myself. There's this whole pool
The
of
house is modern. Look at this. I can see through the
right,
walls.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. Because she is doing better. She's living a life of more luxury than like a stay-at-home mom, right? She can go
yeah,
out and get nice things for herself. She's able to even while she's single, she's able to kind of provide a life of maybe even luxury for herself, right? She's able to go get things that she needs and do whatever she wants to
Travel.
treat herself to. But
okay,
eventually, if she wants to switch, now she's kind of you might end up stuck in that box of um, you won't find that if you try to switch it up later. You know what I'm saying? You kind of can't go back and
yeah,
decide when you're 40, like, you know what? I'm looking for somebody who wants a serious relationship. Granted, there's single men out there 40, but single men who are 40, I was talking this about my sister today. They're just trying to hang out too, right? They're probably after a divorce or something. They're just trying to kick it. You know what I'm saying? They're not really looking to
yeah.
go get
I, I,
remarried at
I
40.
think, I think I have an answer. I think what I think on it is this, because I think we got just a couple minutes and we're gonna wrap up. And so, far as the focus on myself, I think for women is completely wrong because think about the mating strategies. Think about it. So you got men. So women look for men with resources. Everybody knows that. That's just how
Okay,
it works.
wait. I think I see where you're going with this. I think I see where you're going with this. It really means when they say focus on yourself, they're talking about like focus on you and don't really worry about relationships or the
Mhm.
networking or like that. But that stuff can create status. It can create income and all the other things. But it doesn't create anything that men want. Essentially, like
Right.
because men want you at your youngest, your hottest, your most feminine, and all of that. So by the time you're done focusing, like you lost all the good shit. You lost all the juice.
Yeah.
He talking
Okay.
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
lost
yeah, yeah.
the juice.
I'd agree with that. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand.
Yeah, because it's like this. So, okay, so you got mating strategy. So we are life forms. People like to separate us from nature, but you can't. If you do that, that's whenever you get all the nonsense that comes in. But you can't separate us from nature. We're part of nature. Okay, so we have instincts and we have a purpose. And life's biggest goal is to procreate, right? To keep it going. So what do men do? So men, we have to focus on ourselves to have successful families. So they keep telling women basically focus on yourself means go out there and try your best to be a man. But the problem is, okay, so for men it works. It makes sense because women look for resources. So they have resources to give to their children. That's the whole point. I want a man that has something so he can provide for our children. But it's not like that for women. So for a man, we go out, we have to become, create value, all right, so that then we can provide for a family.
Yeah.
Women, ask a woman to provide for you. Say you want to be a stay at home. Hey, I want to be a stay at home dad. I don't really want to work. If there's one thing that I mean, 95% of all women say when we go out talk to them, when anyone is talking to them, is really gonna be, hey, I want a man that's ambitious, and a man who wants to stay at home is the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So men focus on themselves to get successful relationships, but to get the man, women need to focus on the man. So we focus on the resources because that's what brings the ladies in the first place. They won't want to be with us otherwise. We can't live at home, or work minimum wage jobs and just, be a successful guy unless you're 6'2" and you just look great. But they'll just mess with you for a short time, right? They're not looking to marry you. They're not looking to follow you. So if you want a successful relationship, you have to go focus on put your head down, work, and become something. Ladies don't have to do that. They just have to be of service to you to add value to you, and then you will take them along for the ride.
Yeah. That
So
makes sense.
focusing on yourself means be a man. And if you want to focus on yourself in the sense that they're telling you to, then be ready to be that breadwinner, but want to be the leader. Find you a male that is considered beta male that's gonna follow you. The problem is, we as men we're told you don't have instincts, you don't have a nature, you're a blank program, and you just heard a bunch of masculine nonsense, and now, but you need to stop that, and none of that matters. But women, they don't get told that they don't have a nature. So the desire to find a man that is on their level, that has as much as they do or more, but that's a nice way to say it. No woman wants a man that's making the same amount of money as her. Come on,
No,
they
straight
want
up.
they
If they were to build their perfect mate, they build someone taller, faster, stronger, richer. Yeah.
that has more money. The guy is gonna have he's gonna make
Right.
more than they do. No, hey, who's your idea guy? Well, I make about 37. So a guy who makes 37.50, that's good. No, they make 37, they'll be happy. They might be happy with a guy that makes 45. I think the number is like 20, at least 25% more. They feel like you're in a different tax bracket, a different range. You're doing better than they are. But if
Yeah.
you meet a woman, she like, I make 75. What do you make? I make about 32. Oh, you just close the door, right? So women get told to embrace their nature and it's okay, get a man on your level, level up. But men are told that you don't have a nature, and our nature is completely rejected
And if
and
you want something
demonized.
different than what they want, there's something wrong with you.
That's right. But then the messed
You're
up part
cold
is,
and empty.
but
Yeah.
they're telling women to be men while telling men that it's toxic to be yourself. And so that's where these ladies get it all messed up. And let's see. But look, it looks like we are at time.
Yes,
So
sir.
we can go ahead and wrap it up. Anybody have any final thoughts? That's it for me.
This
No,
shit crazy.
yeah. That's it for me. I mean, it is. I think the idea of choice, just because you have a choice, doesn't mean you have to pick the new one. If that makes sense.
Right. You don't have to be a follower,
Yeah,
right? You
right.
don't
You
have
don't have
to.
to be a follower because it is. Granted, there is some great things about women being able to be free, being able to have successful careers. It does raise the bar for what type of resources you're going to go get as a man, right? Because yet making the minimum isn't going to impress anybody, right? Because anybody can go out there and get the minimum. So it raises the bar in a sense. But just realize that if you do, like if a woman does want a relationship, she does want to be led by a man, she does want to be married, she doesn't have to do these things. You got to get into that early, and there's certain like adjustments and sacrifices for that lifestyle. Same for a man, right? He's just about to sacrifice some money to take care of somebody, right? So there's an idea to uh, you can't just kind of have that cake and eat it too. I guess is what it falls down to. Or you can try, but it's gonna be significantly harder. The odds tip way out of your favor that if
Yeah.
you want to be independent person, only focusing on yourself, not worried about creating a family, doing anything like that. I mean, as a man, you can smell it, right? You can see who is going to be down for starting something with you, and who's just worried about building themselves up and not ready to make no sacrifices. So,
Just like everything else, man. Just like careers,
hmm
that's years. Just like going to school, law school, going to get a degree, to get your doctors, all that kind of crap. Going to medical school, that stuff takes time, and you make decisions years before. So
right,
if you want a successful marriage, if you want a family life, treat that like everything else. You have to make the decision years before. You just don't decide on Tuesday, and by Friday, you good.
yeah.
That's
Talking
not
about,
how it
I'm ready
works.
to stop being single. I'm finna go find me a man this week. And
Yeah.
then it's like I said, it's generally somebody who they just find attractive, and you can find this is the problem too. Women can often find a man attractive that makes less money, but when they see that when the nature starts to play out, right, when the situation kind of hits the road, when you're actually going through the motions, they're just like, oh, I don't really like this. This isn't really what I thought it would be. I thought it was supposed to be like that. When I decided I didn't want to be single anymore, I thought I was going to be in just get the traditional situation. Thought that I just hit the light switch and he was gonna start. He was gonna marry me and just want to pay for stuff all day.
Yeah. That's not how it works.
It's just not.
That's not that's not how it works. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
I'm ready to put my.
So hey, if we got something right, let us know. If we got it wrong, let us know. Join the conversation. Drop a comment. Let us know how far off the mark we were. But that's it. Thanks for joining us on this podcast, and make sure to catch us on the next one.
All right.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Don't let me know. Shit, I know I was right.